Welcome back to Harburn 00, or regular series here. Today I'm going to go through how the servos work using the PiCow W rock rail and how we set it up. Just to know, between the GP and the servo, the signal line there, you have to have a 270 ohm resistor just to give a bit of protection to the board. And the servo power supply can be done outside the PiW. You can use an external power supply for it as long as you get the signal going into the PiCow. And I said that before, I use a common negative as well. Now, just checking here, the GP6 and GP7 is what I've got these ones tied into for the board here. And normally you use, if you're using GP9 for example, you use address 9 when you're programming the rock rail, but this one here is a bit different, and I'll show you on the computer. So let's go over to the computer and we'll show you. So here's a servo, here's an accessory here. I've done it as a double slip, a double switch. I right click on that and go to properties. And go into interface. So because that double switch, there's two addresses for it, two servos. Now, I've done address 1 as address 1 for GP6, address 2 for GP7. We've also got GP8 and GP9 as current version of Rockrail WIO, which I have. Over on this side here, the port is left empty and the value here is 1, the value down here is 25. I click on this little part here, up it comes, and then your channel 1 is the height it travels to, up and down. So if I go over to the railway and I put it down, if I want to adjust it up or down there, I could just use the slider bar up or down, move the desired position. I always find here, try and move one of these ones here, I'll go up a little touch, go down a little touch, and this brings it back down again, so you set it back up again. So I find these ones are really tedious to work with. Rather than doing that, I just prefer to go the parameters there, and the parameters, okay that. And the parameters, I'll put in settings there. I think it's 117, we'll try that anyway. The value there is 1. Okay that, I actually, okay. I'll go back in to do it. You can adjust it up or down to suit yourself. So, in summary, properties, interface, setup is WIO, node 42, that's what it's set up on top of it. It's address 1 rather address 6. The first one, I prefer changing the parameters here, up and down, up and down. Parameter 2, same again. In here, a bit of messing about with it, not quite right, so I'll leave it. I should say as well, down the bottom there, type, click on servo and switch time. This is an interesting one here. I want to make it go faster or slower, put that to 100 milliseconds for example, like that. Let's see what we do now. Goes a bit faster, up and down. I'll put it back to, just for examples, to 2 milliseconds there. That'll be a more realistic setting. Oh. Right here, folks, that's the servos in a nutshell. There's 2 or 3 things to watch out for, your address and the parameters. Rather than using a little sliding bar, I like to use these bars here. So there we have it, folks. That's short and sweet, this one here. Next week's video, I'll show you how to do the input. Thanks for watching. If you like, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks.